The training comes from experience. I think I've had a lot of pain over the years with relationships, football, work, family, but arguably I am the busiest I've ever been. I'm the most tired I've ever been, but I'm probably the happiest I've ever been. You're gonna have your up days, you're gonna have your down days, and it's just about your mindset. It's just the training comes from the experience.
Welcome to Fit Hustle. I'm your host, Mohammed Asfar. Today we're joined by Scott, a dad fitness. Welcome to Fit Hustle. I'm your host, Mohammed Asfar. Today we're joined by Scott, a dad, fitness enthusiast, a professional at Yorkshire Office Group. Scott's journey is nothing short of inspiring. Starting as a warehouse worker and delivery driver, he's climbed the ranks to take on diverse roles in accounting, office furniture installation, CAD designing, and digital marketing. What's even more remarkable is how he balances all this with family life and a commitment to fitness. In today's episode, Scott will share his journey from warehouse worker to his current multifaceted role, how he integrates fitness into his life as a busy dad, the importance of mindset in both fitness and fatherhood, how mindset shapes daily decisions and long-term success. Whether you're a dad navigating the challenges of balancing work and family, or a fitness enthusiast, Scott's story will resonate with you. Let's dive in. How does a dad manage to stay fit, excel in his career, and still find time for family? As a busy dad, our health and energy are crucial for showing up for our families. That's why I trust BioSteel for clean hydration without the sugar crash. Use code MNYY1417 at checkout for up to 25% off. Let's prioritize health so we can be there for the ones we love. Scott, welcome to Fit Hustle. Thanks for joining us today. Your journey at Yorkshire Office Group is quite impressive. Can you walk us through how you started as a warehouse worker and delivery driver and moved into roles into accounting, CAD designing, and digital marketing?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I'm a bit nervous.
No problem.
I'm a bit excited. So yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. First things first, I'm willing to give anything a try. I think I'm grateful for the opportunities. So I started as a warehouse worker. To be fair, I still do that. I don't mind walking in. I'm still a delivery driver. I still do the odd bits and bobs in the warehouse, and it's just transcended from there. Really, when an opportunity comes, I try and grab it with both hands. I try and take bits and pieces like that into parenting, as the podcast's about, and it benefits the company to have a utility bloke, so to speak. To be fair, mate, we're all utility. It's a small company, so we all have to do bits and bobs. It benefits me personally. So yeah, it's that's where I am at the minute, and he just evolves as it goes on.
That's great, because that makes you more diverse. Like, you get to know, like you said, a little bit more of different departments, and it makes you more valuable too, because as you said, that's the great thing about being a part of a small company, because you're able to diverse yourself in learning more than one skill. While if you were probably in a bigger company, you wouldn't have that opportunity, right?
Absolutely no. Things change, mate, as well. When I first started, it's not the same. So you've got to adapt. If you don't adapt, you'll get left behind.
True, of course, I agree 100%. Great stuff. What motivated you to take on such diverse roles within the company?
I think it's about, you've got one career, and I don't like the thought of waiting till 5 o'clock to get things done. You've got one career, you might as well just give it your all. And so when I get these opportunities, I'm willing to take them. The other thing about me is I don't mind making mistakes.
That's good.
I don't mind failing, just in the long run. So what am I trying to say? So I know that if I fail once on one thing, if I keep going, then by the time I've done it on the 100th, 200th, I'll be a lot better.
Of course, definitely. That's a great mindset that you have. Don't ever be afraid to fail, because you never know what you're going to learn from it, you know? And it seems to me that the company gives you that opportunity, that it's okay to fail, because if you in other companies, if you fail, you're going to get into you probably get fired or something.
You just try, mate. You don't know what's going around corner.
Of course, definitely. Getting more skills, because you never know. Maybe that one skill that you have now, you might not even need, and they don't need it in the future. So by you becoming so diverse, you can add value later on if that one skill is not needed, but you have another skill. Definitely. Good stuff. That's a great mindset. So how have these verified experiences shaped your current approach to work and leadership?
Like I said earlier, my approach is if I make a mistake, I learn. I'll be honest with you. At this present moment in time, I don't see myself as a leader. Yeah, I don't see myself as a leader. I'm a very individual person. Yeah, I think it's all about attitude with me. You can't put that on someone.
Yeah, and it's something that can evolve later on. Maybe right now you haven't had that opportunity, but you would be open to it for you to get to that certain level or that type of skill so that you can build yourself further from there, correct?
Yeah, that will take me the hardest. That'll take the longest because I'm in my 30s now. I've never really done it before, and that's a whole different ball game now to what I'm doing at the minute. That will take me the longest to learn.
Yeah.
Whereas, if someone gives me a task to do, it's on me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand you.
So I either fail or I either progress. Whereas in management and leadership, it's not necessarily about you, it's about the team.
Now, the great thing that you have, the advantage that you have is because you've been so diverse in different types of departments. That's what builds a leader, okay? Because a leader has to be able to understand the employees or his team. And a leader is not a manager, okay? They don't boss you around. They listen to you. That's a true leader. And by you being in such a diverse opportunity, that's gonna build you to become a great leader. And hopefully that will come soon for you. And you will also be able to gain that experience and the confidence that, hey, a leader is basically, I need to listen to my team. I need to be able to be there for them and be resourceful to them. So if your team comes up to you and tells you, hey, Scott, we got this idea, but we need your help. And that's where you come in and become resourceful to them, right? So that's how a leader gets built. And all leaders, and believe me, if you look into it, all leaders start from the bottom, okay? And those are usually the greatest leaders. So you're on your way, man. And I can tell from your personality, you're a great guy, and you're a good listener. So that's something that you'll get there soon. But don't think that it's something that's gonna be hard. It's something that's gonna become all natural to you.
No, for sure.
Yep, for sure, man. So Scott, you mentioned you're a dad of a 2-year-old. How has becoming a father influenced your approach to fitness and health?
It's a good question. I think that the challenge with that is to keep turning up when it's easy when things are good. Now my son's here. It's really the challenge is to keep turning up. It's to keep turning up at the gym, even when you're tired, even when you're fatigued. It's the challenge to keep turning up at work. The influence Tommy has on me is I don't want to let him down. It's not just about my son. It's about the family. It's about work. It's about everything. It's just about showing up when things are tough. And trust me, they get tough, mate. They get tough. They get tough. You have sleepless nights. I also want to bring the same mindset into my son as well. And like I said, be an influence for him. You can't force him to do anything, but it's kids don't do what you say, they do what you do.
Exactly.
Tommy comes first, he always does. But the freedom's gone a little bit, of course, when you have children.
Of course.
But your life's a lot better, mate. Your life's a lot better.
Yeah, it becomes complete, and as you said, the life never, it's like a business or like at work. It's never gonna be a straight line, right? It's always going to be up and downs, right? But that's part of life. That's part of the challenge, because it's testing you on how well can you deal with this challenge, when the times are rough, right? So you're building yourself and becoming a better father, a better example. And like you said, kids, they look at the example. They don't like listening to you, but they'll see what you do and they'll take that, right? And that's the type of father that you're trying to be for your son, because later on he's gonna take that example for him when he becomes a father as well, right?
Scary thought.
Yeah, man. You see, like your son is only 2, but you're gonna see as he grows up, anything you do, even the way you talk, he's gonna start talking like you. Even if you like the way you point your hand gestures and all that, right? So you're gonna see that. So it's all about being there for them. It's all about, providing them the best environment possible for them to become a better version than you, right? We always want our kids to be better than us. I know that that's how I am, right? So that's something that I believe that you're trying to do on your end as well for your son.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want him to make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
It all ties in. This is what the whole podcast's about, isn't it? It's your mistakes become experience, your experience shape your beliefs, and that's all tied into parenting, in my opinion.
Yeah. We do the best to guide them, right? Like I tell my kids, I have a 7 and a 10-year-old, and I tell them, I'm here to guide you, okay? There are things that you're doing now that are way better than what I ever did at your age. You know, there are things like, for example, they're athletes, they play basketball and soccer. I'm like, you know what you just learned now in basketball? I didn't learn that until high school, okay? And you're only 10 and 7, so you're already ahead of me, you know? So, and that's what we want to do. We want to provide that for them so they can reach the goals that they want, right? Doesn't mean however I ended up now, I don't want whatever I did before they did as well, but I do want them to make mistakes. I want them to fail so they learn from it. We don't want them to have a perfect life because they can always be disappointed whenever things don't go right, correct? But they have to learn that, yeah, when things don't go right, I need to know how to deal with it because challenges will come in life. So yeah, definitely, man. Agree with you with all that. Can you share some practical strategies you use to stay fit while managing work and family responsibility?
So for strategies, I would say I go to the gym. That used to be nearly every day. Now it's quieting down a little bit. That so I go at the weekends. But like you said, other things come first now. Other things come first. I need to be first. So like when he's asleep, I'll do some press-ups. I'll do a few bits at home. I bought some equipment. We go out for walks first thing in the morning. We don't put that telly on until last thing at night. I always try and I'm diverting a little bit, but I always try and make sure he's physically done first before anything digitally comes on.
Okay.
Got to be a balance. And in terms of strategies, I do burpees in the morning, do them at night.
Good.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard because the days are random. One day is really good, the next minute is really poorly, and you try to stay disciplined, but it's not, the routine's out the window. The only routine you've got is you've got to show up for work.
Yeah.
So strategies come and go with that one, and I found it really, really tough to answer that question because I haven't really got one. Like some days I'm really tired, some days I'm exhausted from work. The main focus for me is show up. Just keep doing it.
That's great. You know, we all say like we want to have our children are first. That's 100%, right? But sometimes we gotta give time for ourselves, right? So it's okay that we give ourselves like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whether it's an exercise or whether it's just out for a walk, you know, or just going out for a coffee, even by yourself, because you gotta hit that reset button, right? You can't just exhaust yourself over and over again each day. Like sometimes even for myself, you know, it gets really rough. You know, I've had rough times for a very long time, you know, and I come home and one time I was like, man, my kid wants me to sit with him to do some homework. And I'm like, son, I can't focus with you right now. I have a major issue right now and I need to leave the place. I need to leave our place because I don't want to have a negative environment around you guys. And I just went out. I told my wife, I'm like, listen, you just take care of this. Let me try to deal with this issue that I have, right? So we have to, it's not being selfish, you know, it's not selfish if I give some time for myself. It's not like I'm abandoning my son, you know, and my wife, and I'm traveling and having fun and party. No, it's not that, you know, it's for me to be the best version of myself for my family. I need to give some time for myself. I need to reset the button, okay? I need to refocus. I need to start thinking a little bit. I have a challenge that's going on right now. I need some time to think, you know, and then go back and you'll see there's a big difference that happens. It happens all the time. I do it many, many times, you know, and that's where things start to roll up for you. It starts getting better and better. And then you're going to be able to have that strategy but the great thing that you're still doing is that you're still fitting it into your schedule, even when you're having it rough, right? So even if you don't have it on a daily basis, but at least let's say you're doing it 2 or 3 times a week, you know, but that's still a good number, you know, even though when you're having some challenges in life during the week. So it's great that we always have our kids first, but we need to also just relax, give ourselves some time. We're also human beings, you know. We don't really have someone that's taking care of us and really thinking about our every need. We don't have that as dads, and you know, but we have to be able to give that to ourselves so that we can be there for our kids. And like you said, to show up, but to show up at the best version of ourselves, not showing up and I'm exhausted and I can't really, my temper is, you know, out of control, you know. No, I have to be there when I'm like calm, I'm able to relax, because as you said, we're kids are seeing us as an example. Because if I show up in a bad mood, guess what's gonna happen with my kid, right? He's gonna be in a bad mood. He's gonna be angry. He's gonna be, you know, upset. He's gonna think that, oh, this is the way I deal with things, right? And we don't want that, you know. We want them to be able to have patience, you know, and them being great example as, you know, as fathers in the future, you know. So it's great stuff, man. All right.
I do have a hard time leaving him. I have an hard time leaving him. I always make sure, this is probably linked into strategy to be fair, I always make sure that, like, it's balanced. So the strategy is, I always make sure that if I go to the gym for an hour, I always make sure my partner's had an hour, and I try and balance it out. So normally what happens as a weekend is, I'll take him out in the morning, try and take him out some breakfast, take to the park, make sure he's got an hour, so my partner can get changed or what have you. And then because I do have an hard time leaving him, and it's tough. So I just, it's hard.
Yeah.
Emotionally, it's really difficult.
I understand 100%. That's totally normal. So you've emphasized that mindset is just as important as physical fitness. Can you elaborate on this and how it's influenced your life?
Could get really deep, this. Could get really
Sure, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I never used to think like this, but your mind carries your body, doesn't it? So you can have, I always say, you can have the best talent in the world genetically, but if you can't get yourself off the sofa, then you're not going anywhere, are you?
Yeah.
I always think the best footballer, he doesn't play football. He or she doesn't play football. They're probably watching telly. I always think that the best bodybuilder genetically, he's not competing. It's just some random guy somewhere. The thing that separates that is it's your mindset. It's the want to do it. So when I played football, weren't the best player in the world, but I was all right. Could have gone a little bit further than what I actually did. The problem I had is I didn't have a good enough attitude to it. You're too scared to make a mistake. You don't see your full potential. So it's all good just standing around waiting for the ball to come to you.
Yeah.
You've got to make something happen. You've got to have you just worried to look stupid. You just worried to make these mistakes. You're worried to look stupid. And if someone is better than you, you're just too frightened and you get upset when they beat you. That's how I was.
Yeah,
that's how I was. There's plenty of experiences in the past where I've played and my opponent's miles better than me physically. He's miles better. He's miles stronger. He's miles quicker, and he can beat me to it. And he used to get to me. But when you see professionals, that's exactly the same as what I've just described. It's exactly the same. But they're professional not because of how they are physically. They're professional because they can take hard stuff.
Sure.
And whether it's natural that they've got a good attitude or what, I don't know. But I didn't have that. So I've learned over time that you need to look after yourself mentally. You need to. I think that's where gym comes from a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes from, because I used to think when I was 15, 16, if I just get stronger, fitter, faster, it'll sort it out up here.
Yeah.
I'm almost hiding behind the gym, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't sort anything out. He didn't sort anything out. Yeah, you get a bit faster, you get a bit stronger, but you're still not willing to make a mistake. You're not willing to try. And yeah, I think so. Now I'm in my 30s, now a dad. What I've just described there, hopefully, I can pass on to son or future children.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we learn from our mistakes. Like we said, you know, we want to be better versions so that they become better and they can do their best and become better fathers for their kids, right? So, all right, so how do you incorporate mindset training into your daily routine, and how has this benefited you as a dad and professional?
I think the training comes from experience. I think I've had a lot of pain over the years with relationships, football, work, family, but arguably I am the busiest I've ever been. I'm the most tired I've ever been, but I'm probably the happiest I've ever been. You're gonna have your up days, you're gonna have your down days, and it's just about your mindset. It's just the training comes from the experience. It's all about experience for me. And when I say training, I relay on the memories of the bad days. Just to touch on this, everybody talks about, when everybody talks about mindset, they always talk about pain. Like, so you've got a line and they always talk about pain, the bottom bit. No one ever talks about how you need to concentrate when it's going good. I think I've just made as many mistakes being in euphoria as I have been in pain. And I think when like you see it on news all the time where people win lottery and they're not mentally wired for that success and they end up blowing it out. You just need to be careful. I've made a lot of mistakes from being too happy. I'm not grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm not grumpy. So that's where the training comes from. The training comes from if ever like this podcast, for example. It's my first ever podcast. I was a bit nervous, and you just try and relay what's happened in the past.
Yeah.
Like, right, I did this before. This is how I do it, and that's where I get the training from. That's where the mental training comes from.
Great. So what advice would you give to dads who are struggling with motivation or mindset challenges?
Oh, how long we got here? What do you think?
The best advice I say is, like you said, like, show up and make sure that you're giving time for yourself as well. The struggles are going to happen. Trust me, if you got it bad, someone's got it worse than you. Just try to embrace the challenge, embrace those challenges, because that's what's going to build you and make you become a better person. And trust me, when you go through these challenges, after you complete the challenge, you're going to feel like a different person. You're going to feel like you've evolved. You feel like you're like something like on top of the world because you completed that challenge. And that's how we want to be with our kids. Like, we don't want to sugarcoat everything for them in life. Like, for me, with my kids, if he doesn't play well, I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him, well, you did this well, but you didn't do this. And this is what you did wrong. And this is what that. Why? Because he has to hear it. Can you believe that our kids, when they get to college, and basically this is their time to work on themselves, to go professional, it's their first time to hear from their coach in college that they didn't play well? It's ridiculous. Like, you got to set your kids up, and you got to go through the challenges, and you got to be able to embrace your kids going through challenges too, and guide them and be there for them and tell them, hey, this is part of life. You know what I mean? Don't think that, life is just, this is how it is and I just live it up. You're going to have some challenges. You have to have the mindset where you're going to listen to your coach or to your parents because they want the best for you. Like, for example, I had my son a couple months ago. He was talking to his teammate and he was telling him, we got to really focus on it. The coach comes to him and he's like, Jacob, I need you to focus. And then he blew his whole training. Why did the coach tell me that? Because I was focused. I was telling my teammate, I'm like, listen, if the coach doesn't like you and wants the best for you, why would he come and tell you that? He's like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, whatever your coach tells you, you say, yes, coach. All right. And you move forward. Even if you're focusing, he tells you to focus, you focus 100 times more. Okay. And that's how he started to understand. And he's become a very different person, different player, and I've seen a big changes from, and his brother's learning from that as well at a younger age, So we got to have that growth mindset. We have to be open-minded. We have to be able to talk as well. Talking is very important. And I can't emphasize this more than having time for yourself. Give yourself some time. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, whether it's fitness, whether it's for a walk, whether it's a coffee break, and whether if you smoke, you want to go get a smoke, go for a smoke. I'm a fitness guy. I'm not saying that you should do that, but if that's you, you know what I mean? Hey, you gotta hit that reset button. It's very important. So that's what I have to say about that.
I'm just gonna touch on a point that you've just said there. Yeah. I always say this, mate. If you've never experienced pain, and the older you get, the longer you leave the pain, it's going to be a lot worse.
Of course, 100%.
If you've, let's say, let's go off topic a little bit. Let's say relationships. If you've never experienced getting broken up before at a really young age, you're going to find it really hard in years to come, in your later life, because it teaches you that things are going to be all right. For a couple of days, you're going to be a bit down if you're at school, and you know what I mean? The best girl in class has dumped you.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel a bit down. You're gonna cry. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be all right. If you've never experienced that and you go into marriage, you've never known that pain.
It's true.
If anything ever happens, you're gonna be distraught, and it's gonna hit you. Like you say, you've got to experience pain. You've got to experience it. That this happens in any walk of life. It was just the only example I could just think of.
Yeah.
I think so. From my opinion on the advice I'd give to dads is your sleep will come back. Your sleep will return. I think it was 10 months where I didn't have a full night's sleep, me and my partner. It took him 10 months to sleep all the way through. But now it's very rare he gets up, so the sleep's come back. The tantrums, they come and go. It's just the one thing you haven't got is time. It's not on your side. You'll blink and the kid will be walking.
Yeah.
So the best advice I could give is don't read too much into a moment. If it is a moment, don't like you said, don't overreact. Don't read too much into it. Once it's finished, put your arms around him or her. Tell them you love them, as deep as that is, and try and imagine what they're going to be like when they're 16 or 18. That's how I think.
Sure.
I just like say you saw my LinkedIn post. One day you're not going to be the best mate. You want to make sure that you're giving full effort. You're going to be tired. Like I said, I don't want to repeat myself. You're going to be tired. There's going to be days where you're like, no, not today. You've just got to overcome it because it goes too quick. That's my advice.
Definitely. So how do you manage emotions and beliefs when facing challenges as a dad and professional?
So, question coming back to you here is, give me an example where anger has benefited you.
There's a study that says anger wastes like, I think 5 hours of your energy, so it doesn't really benefit you. Like, and that's something that I teach my kids. As a little one always gets angry, I'm like, what did you just do? Like, why'd you get upset? You've seen dad in this situation right in front of you. Did dad get upset? Did I get angry? No, you were very calm. I'm like, so why don't you learn from that? And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Yeah, there are times where we talked about earlier, challenges happen and you just blow up, or you just talk out loud and you don't feel like you're actually talking out loud, right? But it's something that happens. It's like a progress. You learn from it, and you're like, oh man, why did I do that? And then the next time something like that happen, and you're like, no, I need to stay calm, take a deep breath, go for a little walk. That's how I deal with it for my family or professionally. So if I feel like I'm really getting angry, I'm like, okay, before I get into this, whatever the situation is, whether it's in a professional matter or it's in a family matter, try to go for a walk, take a deep breath, try to get my mind out of it for a little bit, and then just try to rethink and come back and say, yeah, well, regarding the situation, and then talk about it. Something that they say, for example, in a professional environment, like in a workplace, never send an email while you're angry. So get up, go for a walk, think about it, consult a colleague that you trust, and then go ahead and send that email. So that's something that I practice myself. So coming back to you, is there something that you do that's similar, or something that you have something better than that?
No, you just learn, don't you? You learn that these emotions that don't benefit you, you realize that you've spent so much time wasted.
Yeah.
Where and the time that you've wasted is on you. It's on you not being able to overcome anger, overcome being upset. Look, when I say upset, there are different types of upset. There's different types. Upset with what we're on about on the podcast, with relating to my son getting angry and my son and family and work, then that's the type of upset I'm on about. I understand if, you know what I mean, you have grievances, that's totally different. It's totally different. But you learn as you go on. You get angry, you spend a couple of hours angry, you realise that in a couple of days' time, you're at the seaside. And then you look back on that time and you think, well, we're at the seaside now. Why did I get so angry then? Because we've clearly made up. So then the next time it happens, it's in your brain. You've almost created a new belief around anger.
Yeah.
So the next time it happens, you're like, look, we've been through this. It might be a different scenario, but we've been through it. So same with my son. If he doesn't understand me yet, but that's the type of approach.
Yeah.
Tommy, you don't have to get this upset. You don't have to get this angry. We still love you. He doesn't understand, but eventually, if over time, he will do. So I think that's, like, I think I said it earlier on in podcast, that the strategy that I have is learning from my past experiences, and then my past experiences become new beliefs.
Yeah.
And then I don't learn, I'm learning. So as time goes on, I'll go, if I did that a little bit better, so next time I'll not be this emotional. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And something that really helped me, especially when I was raising my kids, there are books for parenting that really helped, especially like at a young age, they don't really express themselves very well. So there was one strategy where they said, give the child a paper and pen or pencil or whatever that's safe for whatever age they're at, and let them draw their emotions or write. If they can write, let them write. Okay. And that's something that my kids till this day, if something happened and they upset me, like, you know what you did was wrong. I don't want you talking to me. Okay. Oh, and they sit on the desk and they write a note and they come to me and they're, Dad, can you read this note? It's a different way of communication, but because there was like anger in between you. So when you're giving that note, that anger, there's no anger. That's how it feels. Like that's how I feel. Right? So when I read it, it's just like and then he'll pull me like an option, yes or no. Okay. Or can you write back to me? Can you respond to this message, right? Or this letter? So there are these strategies that really helped, and I really learned from them. And then at a child, when they get angry and they're yelling and they're, for example, let's say they start hitting you, this is a way of them expressing their emotion. They don't know what they're doing because they can't really communicate, right? And also us as parents, we need to be resourceful in reading these type of books so we can have these strategies. But not every strategy is going to work. Some of them are going to work for you, some of them are not going to work. Maybe none of them are going to work for you. But you're going to learn, and you're probably going to end up with a new strategy from those examples, right? So that's one thing. Another thing is personal development books really help me. I've gone through so many personal development books, and and a lot of them, they're similar in a way, but it's a good reminder, Yep. I also got to a point where I started listening to shortcasts of personal development books, where basically they're shortcasts and summarized books, they're like just like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And I just listen to them while I'm in the car. And that really helped, because we need to be resourceful. And us being resourceful is not just about us learning from our past, but we need to learn from others. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be able to learn for example, it's like a mentor, right? So if you want to build a business, what's the best way of you building a business? Is learning from someone that's built a business, correct? So that person is your mentor. So if I want to become a better version of myself as a parent or as a professional, let me learn from others, from their experiences, okay? Let them become my mentors, not maybe directly, but in a way where I can learn from, because a lot of these books are just examples, right? And you learn from that, and you can really learn so much, and you become such a better person. Like when I started that at the beginning of our journey in fitness, me and my wife, we got into personal development, and it made a big difference. And like right now, I'm at a point where I'm pretty much resourceful, and I like learning more. I like learning from others as well. Like this podcast, I've talked to many people, and I learn from them, and that's all. We gotta network. We gotta be able to be open up and learn from others and be vulnerable, because you can't just sit there behind a desk or just between walls and between your wife and your kids and be like, yeah, well, this is all I have. No, you can get more. Even a small investment of a book that's like $10 or $20, or these shortcasts or these podcasts that you can just download an app. They have all of them. It's like, I don't know, $60 a year membership. So we gotta be as resourceful as possible. So because we've learned a lot of bad habits as well from our parents, right? And we don't want to keep those bad habits. I always tell my kids, I'm like, learn the good habits, leave the bad habits. And also you guys got to learn, not just from me. I tell them like, when you're playing your sports, learn from your teammate, from your school. Your friend is something nice, learn from that. So we have to be open up for that at all times.
True. Absolutely.
Can you share an experience where failure taught you something valuable, and how did you use it to grow?
Yeah, I can. I think going back to where I'm learning, I haven't learned anything, I'm learning. biggest failure that I'm learning about myself is aiming to be comfortable, I would say. So I used to run home from work, go and sit in front of TV, live a comfortable life. It's not what I'm slowly coming around to is that's not the way to go about it. With AI and bits and pieces like that, you're getting replaced. If you're comfortable, you're going to get replaced.
Yeah.
And I think you've almost got to think the opposite. When you're watching a basketball match, what you're actually watching is sports stars becoming uncomfortable, but they're the successful ones, and you're the comfortable guy who's not really that successful. I hope that makes sense. So you've got to. That's my sort of biggest failure. With a house, I'm too afraid to take risks on a house. I was very nervous about having a son, having a child. Not because I'm incapable, not because of my attitude. It's because you're leaving a comfortable life behind to become uncomfortable, and you don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't want it. And what you realise is that to be successful, you've got to be uncomfortable. If you're going to sit on the couch all day, I don't want to deep dive into that, and I don't want to offend people. But if you're gonna sit around all day and be comfortable, you're not going to get anywhere.
Sure.
It's not the sitting on the sofa; it's the thought that you're really comfortable at the minute. It's the same with anything. It's the same with anything. That's my biggest failure. That's my biggest failure. Is aiming to be comfortable, and it's not beneficial. And that's where I am at the minute. Me talking to you now, 3 years ago, no chance. I wouldn't have done it. So I've started making videos. I'm really uncomfortable about making videos. I've never done it before. But if I wouldn't have had that belief, I wouldn't still be making them. So that's my biggest failure. What's yours?
Yeah, failure has happened a lot, man. Like I've had many times. I've had a business venture that I did one time. It did well, but I decided that I don't want to continue because it's not that I didn't get clients. I got clients at a very short time, and it was something that I'm not a sales guy. I'm a marketing graduate, right? But but I was able to get those clients, and then I was like, man, I don't know if I want to continue doing this. You know, it's just too much, right? And I just decided that just leave it behind, and then let's just leave it. Yeah, I made some money from it. It was pretty good for a short time. It was just a couple of months. But I said no, because I was away from my family, right? So I was alone. I was doing all this alone, and I was supposed to get support, and that support didn't really deliver. You know what I mean? It was very disappointing. And I was trying to become resourceful, and I just wasn't able to be so resourceful. So I said, this is a failure. So let's just let it be. Now, it might not have been a failure, because when you look at it, yes, I did very well for the first month. I got clients. I made some money. But I made myself fail that, this is not going to happen. It's not going to do well. And I went to that person that was supposed to give me that support. I tried to get support from elsewhere, but the cost was too high. It's not going to be worth it. So I said, you know what? Yeah, just let it be and go to plan B. Go back stay with my family, go start a job, and just take it from there. And that didn't really haunt me to say I regret it, because I tried to find other options, but it just wasn't there. It just wasn't working out. But what I could have done is that if I was resourceful enough, when I think back, I could have done it in a different way, right? Without using that other support of cost. Maybe I could have done it in a different way. But I didn't have that support. I didn't have that mentorship that was able to provide me that, right? So that's where I after that, and I call that a failure. I said, you know what? From now on, I'm not going to let anything stop me. If there's something that I want to do, I'm going to continue doing it, and I'm going to try to be as resourceful as I can. Built a business in the Middle East. It wasn't in Canada. Was very competitive market. I succeeded, did well, went through challenges. The business is still going. It's still going through some challenges. Now we're just fixing some things, and hopefully things will start going the right way. And now this business as well, the fitness, it's a passion. And this podcast, it just started, and I just started targeting busy dads. So I want to continue. Yes, it's something that's going to take some time, but it's resonating with people. I'm connecting with people. I'm networking with people. People are understanding what the mission is behind this. So if I continue to do this, then sometime in the future, hopefully he's gonna pick up and do well. So that's where, from that experience, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let anything stop me. If there's something I believe in, I'm gonna continue, and I'm gonna be as resourceful as possible.
So you've put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. You failed at it, and there's no such thing as, I always say there's no such thing as bad failure.
There's no failure, to be honest with you. We call it failure, but it's not. It's learning. For example, you brought up professionals at basketball or athletes themselves. If they lose a playoff game, does that mean they failed? No, they didn't. They didn't fail. It's progress. It's all progress. Life is progress. Sports is a progress. You learn from it and you build yourself up. And you see that in athletes, and you see that you'll probably, if you become in touch with someone, maybe 1 out of 10 people actually started to make it because they just kept going and going. And the others are like, yeah, it's just not going to work out. I'm just going to stick with a 9-to-5 job and I'm good, right? And mostly, by the way, they say it, if you don't do the hard, you're not going to get it easy in the future. Do the hard, then things will be easier for you later. And another example, like, how do you make diamonds? Diamonds go through a lot of heat, right? So if you're going to be a diamond, you got to go through a lot of heat.
Absolutely.
Okay, man. So let's talk about your work at Yorkshire Office Group. Can you tell us one thing about your role that helps you balance work and family life?
Yeah, I think Yorkshire Office Group, it's the classic work hard, play hard situation here. I think compared to other companies that I've worked at, it's really flexible, providing you've put it in, you've put in the shift. I think all anybody ever asks is from here is you give it your all. It's a really close-knit team. Like I said, we all have different roles in the company. We all have multiple roles in the company, and we're going from strength to strength, even through down times. We're doing all right. It's just really flexible. If you need the time given for you, but just don't take the mick.
It's really good to have that support in a company, because there's a lot of companies that don't give you that support, especially for parents or dad.
I remember working somewhere. If you were a minute late, you weren't getting paid for that hour. You've got a clock in and out, and it's if my son's sick, what am I meant to do? So I think eventually the whole dynamic of work will change.
Yeah, it does, because you personally won't feel comfortable working. It's something that I've discussed in another episode as well with a guest. For us in this business, we're in a relationship business. We're not in a transactional business, right? So if my employee or my client, right, needs me to be there for them, I should be there for them. You know what I mean? It's not just making money and that's it, because you're gonna get even better from them, because they're gonna work even better. You've appreciated that, they needed that time off because of their child.
I keep seeing that post on LinkedIn. I think multiple people post it. It's where the boss asks a load of questions, or I think it's the receptionist. She asks a load of questions like, I need to go here can I have a lunch break for an hour? Can I take care of kids? Can I go here? Can I do this? And the reply is, I'm not your dad. As long as the job's done, you've got that time. And I think that's where every will do.
Exactly. Yeah. So if someone's interested in learning more about Yorkshire Office Group services or want to connect with you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, sure. For me personally, go on my LinkedIn. Okay. It's not so much about work, my LinkedIn. It's more you get to see what I'm about.
Okay.
So if you want anything from us, you get to see the real me as well, because we're all human. If you want other products, other bits and pieces, just check out our website, I'd say.
Sounds good. So we'll share that in the notes and the profile. If anybody wants to connect with you, they can connect directly. So what's your vision for the future, both personally and professionally?
That's a good question, man. Personally, I just want to get out there in front of as many people as possibly can. Showcase my life a little bit more, my family, who I am as a person. I really like LinkedIn. I think it's my platform. I'm not too keen on Facebook and Twitter, but LinkedIn's really good because you're all. It's like a community. You're all in it for the same reason. You're really professional, and I really like it, and I can relate to it. Whereas on Facebook, it's a bit more about family. It's a bit more comedian sort of thing, but
Yeah.
just get in front of a lot of people. Obviously, promote Yorkshire Office Group as I market as products. As a family, from a family perspective, keep doing what I'm doing. Just keep growing the family. Maybe you never know. Just make sure my son is doing the best he can. Just teach him all the stuff to do with fitness. Not fitness in per se, but the mindset that goes behind fitness. Have a good attitude. That's all I can ask. That's all I can ask of him. Stay fit. Stay fit. It's a big belief of mine. Stay fit forever. That's what I'd say.
Great stuff. So how do you hope your journey and experience can inspire other dads trying to balance multiple responsibilities?
Yeah. What I would say to that is, when you have a child, the canvas is blank, and you paint that child's picture from your beliefs. So I just say, give it your all. Just give it your all. You never know, dear. You never know.
I like that. I like that analogy. Canvas is blank. You're 100% right. Yeah.
So my parents don't have my beliefs, and I don't have my parents' beliefs, but they're still my mum and dad. It's the same with everybody around the world. You get to a certain point in age, and then you start developing your own beliefs, and then your beliefs then transcend to your children, and the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats.
Of course, 100%. So what legacy do you hope to leave through your work and personal life?
If anybody ever remembers me, God forbid, obviously, if anybody ever says, Scott Maycock, what do you think of him? He works hard. That's it. He works hard. He's got a good attitude. You know what I mean? I don't want all the money, all the material stuff. It's just he puts the effort in. He shows up, and he's willing to make mistakes, but his attitude's great, and he's an all-round good person. That's fine by me.
That's great stuff.
What about you? Answer that question to me.
Yeah, for me, I just, like you said, I'm not all about like the flashy stuff. I'm not all about any of that. I just hope I've done a lot of good. I've helped out people. I just do good, and I have a saying: I just throw it in the sea. I don't like go back to the person like, yeah, well, I did you a favor, but I'm not like that. I just hope that whoever I was there for, they appreciate that I was there for them. I'm a loyal person, and I was able to help as many people as I can, whether it's at a personal level or a professional level, you know? And like you said, just all around good guy, never bothered anyone, just being there and being positive for others whenever they needed it. And that's the best thing that I can ever ask for. Like for me, that I wouldn't want anything more than that.
I think if everybody else around you wins, so he's successful, has a good attitude, you're gonna have a good attitude, aren't you?
Exactly, yeah. If Scott can balance a demanding career, fitness, and fatherhood while maintaining a positive mindset, so can you. His journey proves that with the right approach, you can excel in all areas of life. Whether you're looking to improve your fitness or enhance your mindset, taking that first step is crucial. Ready to start your own transformation story? Book a call with me today and let's create a strategy that builds both physical and mental resilience. Remember, as Scott demonstrates, true strength comes from within. Let's make it happen. Thank you, Scott, for sharing your powerful journey with us today. Your story demonstrates how a strong mindset and commitment to fitness can transform not just your life, but the lives of those around you. From warehouse worker to multifaceted professional and dedicated dad, you're proving that balance is possible. Before I wrap up, I want to remind you that Scott works with Yorkshire Office Group, which offers comprehensive office furniture solutions. If you're interested in learning more, connect with him via LinkedIn or check out the show notes for the link to his profile. And thanks to Biosphere for powering this podcast. When you're working on building resilience at Scott, staying hydrated and energized is key, especially for busy dads. Use code MNYY1, it's code MNYY1417 up to 25% off your next order. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a dad who might need to hear this message of resilience and strength. Until next time, stay strong, stay resilient, and keep hustling.